Hello, and welcome to the fan cams. As the preseason comes to a close, as the Blues get touched up, to be fair, 10 goals, 363 to the Dees, 15 goals, 11, 101 on a scorching hot night at Icon Park. It was really warm. Nice turnout there. Ultimately, didn't get to see a win. Got through relatively unscathed. We'll get through everything. So much to get through. And this is the fan cams. And the fan cams are brought to you by Mr. Koken, Oud Koken, our major sponsor for the fan cams this year. So if you're new to the fan cams, it's essentially talkback with video. The video element is added. I've put the link in the comments for anybody that wants to call up, share your thoughts. We'll get through this one, get this one done, and then move on to opening round and the real stuff. So let us begin. Toby.
Terry, how are you, Matt?
Toby, good to see you, my friend.
Well, it's good to see you. It's footy season again, I thought. And you saw me in the comments yesterday and you said to me, "Oh, Toby, I would like to see you on fan cams." And I thought, well, why not? I watched the game after I got home from footy training. Oh, Terry, I think we've got a bit to work on. I mean, I thought our turnovers, weren't great, but it's a preseason match. But you don't want that going into opening round against Brisbane, because if we do that, they're just going to run us over and tear us apart. So, stuff to work on, but hey, I'm not panicky yet. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit sloppy, ball in hand. I thought defensively that was not the Carlton that we know in terms of just general pressure around the ground, intensity and energy. When we didn't have the ball, didn't seem to be as what we would be used to. Lots to work on, but like I said, I think yesterday, just get through, no injuries, and then now we can get cracking, get into the real stuff next week, and go from there.
Who, if you were to make changes from tonight, who would you bring in? And did the bloke who was playing in the twos this morning, Williams, did he go okay? Do we know?
From all reports, got through unscathed. Zachy Williams. Okay. Definitely would love to see him in. Wouldn't mind seeing Kennedy in the mix. I think we'll answer the question early next week when we know who's available. I think that's the best way to go about it. I would love to have quite a few players there that probably won't be there next week. We know Jacob Wiedering won't be there. Still don't know about Sam Walsh. Unlikely at this stage from me just reading in between the lines, but we'll see. But yeah, what did you look for tonight? What do you look for in preseason matches?
Well, Terry, I look for just playing the younger blokes and giving them a go and seeing where they could fit into our team. And I think we're doing it well, but Voss knows what he's doing, and he's there for a reason. I mean, if you look at the good coaches in the comp, Voss is up there for sure. I mean, it's preseason. Let's just take it, as we always say, 1 week at a time, see how we go. Don't panic. There's no need to panic. If we look at the second half of last season, brilliant. Okay? Absolutely brilliant. And got us to finals and where we deserved to be. But it's early stages. We don't need to panic. 1 week at a time. You do that in footy. Because if you panic, you're on the back foot. Yeah? And I've said this to you plenty of times, Matt. Plenty of times. And I just think as I'm getting older, being a Carlton supporter, I just think I need to sit back and go, okay, reflect and just enjoy. Like I've got, I'm just happy to be on talking to you again, man. It's so good to be back, and I can't wait for the rest of the season and what it holds for us, man. I'm excited.
Likewise, mate. It's good to have you back. Appreciate you calling in. We'll
no problems,
we'll speak to you no doubt next week throughout the year.
I'll be back, man. Don't you worry.
All right.
And yeah, I know people have been asking about me. Thank you very much. And I might have a little surprise in the next. If my brother comes over, I might have a little surprise, and I might go, "Hey, Josh, I'm just going into fan camps. Can I just borrow a debt for a sec? Because I'm now officially your uncle, Matt."
All right, we'll wait for the surprise. Good on you,
All right, Jay. See you, Matt.
Mate. Cheers. Pommy.
Hey, how are we doing?
Yeah, we're good, mate. Thank God that's over, to be honest. Thank God preseason's done.
Oh, well, I mean, we've been here before, haven't we? Let's be honest. I mean, like, we're veterans in the trenches. I'm pretty sure this time last year, did we have it was Sydney, wasn't it?
It was Sydney. There were meltdowns after Sydney, but it was definitely Sydney.
Do you remember it? I mean, that was pure bag of Vans, wasn't it? Wasn't it like a 50-point loss? And
yeah.
So I mean, this side are really hard to analyze. I always find because, like, do you know what I mean? Like that Sydney game, it looked like if we got within 100 of Richmond, that would be a W. Because from memory, they came out of the blocks flying, didn't they? In the Richmond game, Melbourne got gunned down 50. That was it. They got gunned down 50 by Melbourne, didn't they? And
that's right.
And it was going to be like the battle of the pants sides. And yeah, a lot to take out in that game, isn't it? A lot to take out of that game from the Blues. Very loose, very lackadaisical. Energy levels kind of fluctuated. A bit like me changing from a T-shirt to a singlet today in this heat. I couldn't get settled. It's a hard one, isn't it? Because there was moments that you liked, but then there was some absolute shocking moments. Like that third quarter ground clearances, we just kind of stopped. But I mean, I suppose we'll find out next week, won't we? I mean, that's the real deal. When there's 4 points.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, because you obviously watched it from the screen. I was at the ground. I wasn't sure if the energy levels were down. I wasn't sure if the Dees were going too hard. I wasn't sure if it was lackadaisical. Aerially, I noticed two things. Aerially, particularly in defense, we just seemed to just not be able to read the ball, the flight of the ball as well. Maybe it got better in the second half. And then the second thing, it just looked like the Dees had this extra closing speed on all leads, seemingly. It might be an exaggeration, but it just didn't have a Carlton energy about it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a tough one because, do you know what I mean? It was poor in some areas, like really poor. But then, like, Essendon last year to 2 weeks after, they sorted out. So this team seems to be one that can really take a hammer in and be really bad, but learn from it.
Yeah.
And which is thing. I mean, the only things I took out really that Lewis Young, I thought, had these moments where he started to look a little bit better. Do you know what I mean? He had some good one-on-one efforts. He made some mistakes at times, but he battled hard. Ken, when he started to play a bit loose, he looked better. He's not a one-on-one defender. When they shifted him, he looked a lot more sound, I thought. And then, yeah, it's the little things where you really notice, don't you? We missed Walsh's energy in the middle. There was times where players were taking off. Like, God love Cripps, but you don't want Cripps bursting out from a stoppage and George Hewitt, do you? You want that handball going there. The big thing that I did like, though, is they tried to get the ball moving forward at all times. And that was something we saw last week. The problem was they just couldn't execute. And we saw the return of the loopy handball into the air. Ollie Hollands this week obviously hasn't paid his subs because he was getting absolutely smashed with them handballs. So I don't know what is up with that, but I'm going to reserve judgment. I've been consistent at the start of the week. I said, don't read into practice games. I'm not going to read into it. We'll cross this bridge if that's the performance against Brisbane, but I'm sure it won't be. There's something about this that I felt like that wasn't the finished article, and I think we're going to be okay. Got a feeling we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I mean, they've clearly got gears to go. We've seen it. We've seen them play with more spirit, more energy. There was a little piece of footage I saw at the very, very end. Was Fantasia hurt or was he cramping? Did you see it?
Oh, yeah. It's been quote tweeted on thingy. It came up, we had pickle juice. And if you watch when he's talking to the lady that brings it out, he's like, he says, oh, fuck, it's cramp.
Uh-huh.
So he was drinking pickle juice.
Okay. And the other one was Jesse Motlop. What happened?
We didn't really get anything from the game, but the passage of play, the last time we saw him, you see he takes the ball from a handball and he jumps and he turns and his ankle goes. So it looked like it was his ankle. And if you saw the physio, he was rubbing it. But Ash Hansen, I did tune in at half time. He made out like it was a precautionary measure. So they're horrible. Do you know what I mean? The old foot thing. But you can see his foot goes on a point and he goes one way and his foot goes the other. So I don't know if he's like, we know Turfspiracy at Icon Park. It's built on concrete.
Turfspiracy.
It's built on concrete. So like, imagine stubbing your toe on concrete. So I'm sure he'll be all right. He looked in good spirits. I mean, got to be said though, at the end of the day, it was quite amusing for me to see Melbourne got really excited about that game and Voss was telling some jokes. So that was good to see. That was good to see. I mean, you've got to read the body language. Next week is more important for me. That's where we go out. We go out.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'll tell you a little story. I remember I did my PGA playing exams and I had the practice round at the Belfry the morning before. And I shot an 86 and I called my granddad in tears. I was like, an 86 for an aspiring pro is a little bit like, you might as well quit golf. And my granddad said, if you're going to play like a complete fucking idiot, do it sober and the day before. And hopefully these boys are a little bit like me. They'll go out tonight. They'll have a few cheeky beers, maybe chat to a nice young lady, and go out tomorrow and break par. That's all you got to do.
Get straight back on it. Get straight
That's
back on the horse.
Did, do you know what I mean?
Okay.
8 beers, nice young lady, and kick ass next day.
And get on.
Right.
Well, we've got 9 days. That's it now. I'm so happy to be saying that now. 9 days until the bounce of the real stuff, premiership points on the line, and the real gravity of the Carlton steam train begins. What are some of your priorities between now and then?
I think a huge priority for me is I want to see Lewis Young in training this week just live on Harry Mackay, because there was some moments he built into the game, but there's some moments that, really he needs to impose himself a little bit. And that's something that Harry, I thought, did really well today. He's not scared to get in front. We called it on the watch along. If you watch Adam Sard isn't built like a brick shithouse. But you know what he does is he uses every ounce of his body to get in front of the ball. And that's something that Lewis Young does quite a bit. He gets in position and he kind of backs himself to be first and forgets that you can still move as a ball's in flight. So I really want him to impose him there and really get some synergy, because at times between the lines we looked woeful, let's be honest. Exiting the back half of the ground, sometimes that midfield didn't look like they'd ever played with the back half. And then the midfield looked like they'd never played with the forwards. So that's something that they're going to have to work on. But, I mean, at the end of the day, they've been there and done it. The hardest thing to do is do something you've never done before. These boys played 12 weeks of some of the best football I've ever seen as a Blues fan. And that seems to be the message. Ash Hansen said it last week in his little pre-game meeting of getting the synergy together. So all they've got to do, once they find it, it'll be all right. And they've got 9 days to fucking find it and bring it out at the Gabba. Hey, haven't they? Against some absolute melts in claret.
Can't believe it's here. I can't believe it. That's it. That is it. How would you rate preseason overall?
What, performance-wise?
Sorry, no. Let me quantify. How do you view preseason when the way we've done it now, where we play simulation, a match practice, and then the season starts? You think the balance is right?
Bring back the Wizard Cup, so at least we can lift a trophy, mate. Hey, mate. Hey, West Ham 1999 Intertoto Cup finalists, mate. That's what it's all about. Shout out to my brethren Faz. Hopefully they've got what they wanted. I don't know what they had, what they wanted from this game. Last week, the feedback I got was pretty good. That's what they were looking for. I'm assuming they've done that. But I mean, performance-wise, if we're being real, probably about a 2 out of 10. Hey,
yeah.
I'd like to thank Ari for showing me the full game of the GWS 2018. Because if I wasn't such a strong, vivacious male, I may have flashbacks after that. But do you know what I mean? Round 0, is upon us. I'm sure the boys will be all right.
Yeah.
And if they're not, fucking deal with it, won't we? Like we always do, with a smile on our face and a cheeky wink.
Got to get a good rest in and just be prepared for the onslaught. One thing that's for sure, it's going to be full of twists and turns, and that's the only thing we can be sure of. But nonetheless, it's good to be back. Good to have the watch along back, and now we can look forward to premiership points being on the line.
Mate, this is the most fun you can have with clothes on.
Clothes on.
Hey, tell you what, I'll do the outro this time because Terry massacred it. But peace, love, and light, team. I love you all. And let's go and batter fucking Brisbane, because Queensland is an absolute dive. Fuck Brisbane.
Hey,
unless you live there and you're a blue.
See you on Friday for Media Watch, my friend.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go and slaughter some journalists. I've done my pre-season. Where you at? Hey, David King, I'm coming for you, baby.
All right, mate. Take it easy. Hilarious. All right. There's a few of you in the waiting room. If you don't have your camera on, I'm not bringing you on. I need to see who you are before I can get you on. So if you're in the waiting room and your camera's not on, turn it on. Otherwise, it's just not happening. Shannon.
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Welcome back.
Thank you. Loving the backdrop.
It's not bad, eh?
No,
the
it's
old
pretty
school.
good.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Yeah. Were you there tonight?
No.
No.
Too hot for this pregnant one.
Fair.
I watched it from home.
I feel like you got a much better view than what I did. I was ground level. The ball seemed to just not be where I was for the majority of the game. So what did you see?
Pretty much similar to what Pommy was saying, just not a lot of energy. Like there was parts where like we were moving the ball so well down the middle. We looked super dangerous. And then other points where it's just like they were letting the ball go over the back and they were just getting easy ball. And Melbourne looked like near full strength. I think they only had like 1 or 2 out. And then if you list who we didn't have, I think that back six is definitely not settled. And you could tell. But no, not a lot of energy. I think it was more just a get through. And there was a lot of different position movements as well. And Vossi was on the bench but didn't actually coach. Ash Hansen had the reins tonight. And you can pretty much just see Vossi standing there just taking it all in. Didn't look happy in some parts, but no, I'm not too concerned, to be honest. It's practice. Like, better to get it right before we play Brisbane, because if we dish that up against Brisbane, then we have a different conversation. But no, from what I saw, I'm not too fussed.
Yeah. One thing I was reminded of tonight was that I mean, traditionally, we're not as much of a good offensive side with ball in hand as what we are defensive.
Yeah.
And when we got our defensive total ground pressure right, that's when we started playing our better footy.
Yeah.
Whereas the D's looked pretty clean with ball in hand, to be fair to them. The way they were hitting up their leads, the way they were marking the ball in the air tonight, they just looked sharp. They looked, I mean, I'm not sure how much better they're going to be than that, to be honest.
If that's the best they've got.
Shots, yeah.
I mean, Bailey Fridge couldn't hit the side of a barn. So
yeah. So yeah, they looked like they were playing for premiership points tonight. And I wasn't sure if that was because we weren't playing anywhere near our best or if they were just way too good tonight.
No, I don't think it was that. I think we were just playing because there were periods where we looked on top and there were periods where majority of the time they looked on top. And if that's the best they've got, bring it on in the actual season because we've proven that we can beat that particular side on multiple occasions within the space of 3 weeks. So
that's true.
I'm not too worried.
That's true. And overall preseason, like you're pretty okay with what you've seen?
Yeah, look, obviously just getting kilometers in their legs the last 2 games is pretty much all we really wanted, isn't it? Like you can only play, I think I was listening to Cunners on summer sessions and he said you can only play yourselves so much. I think that was him. Might have been the week before with the other 2. But yeah, no, I think overall the boys are looking healthy and fit. Let's just hope it stays that way. And like I said, we've got notable people to come back into that side. So, and the fact that Zach Williams got through today in the minutes that he had allotted to him is positive. So I'm keen for 9 days' time.
Can't wait. Let the meltdowns begin.
Oh my God, I said to you halfway through the game, like ready for the absolute onslaught of people on social media and like it's already started. Like, guys, it's a practice game. Like we're notoriously not that good at practice games. Like the last time we were really good at practice games was when we won the Wizard Cup.
Yeah, we were pretty poor during the season. That's true.
Look how many, so take it with a grain of salt. Go away, review the game, see what we need to work on. Easy fixes, in my opinion. I reckon we'll be right to go.
Yeah, love it. Well, good to see you.
You too.
We'll see much more of you this year and 9 days to go. 9 more sleeps.
Cripper days. Let's go.
Cripper days. See you, Shan.
See ya.
Andy.
What's going on, bro?
I'm good, bro. You got home quick too. That was good.
Yeah, it was a good run, man. Caught the tram and then the car. It was good, bro. It was. I'm not. I was just having a look on Facebook. People are losing their minds, bro. Like, they need to chill.
I haven't looked anywhere yet. I kind of know what we're going to get. I know how it goes. We know how we're just, I don't know, sensitive, passionate fans and whatever.
Yeah.
But, I'll be worried if I see that next week. You know?
I don't think we will. I don't think we will. I think we got through the game relatively unscathed. I don't know. I think Motlop went down. I think Fantasia had a bit of cramp, but nothing. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about either one. So, yeah, man. I don't know what the stress is about. We're winning the flag this year. I don't know why people are tripping.
We had a good chat today at the ground. How are you feeling generally about what's going to happen this year?
As I said to you today, a good start is very important. I think we need a super good start. We can't get ourselves into not even close to what we got ourselves into last year. We can't be 6-6, you know. And it's just to be able to manage players. That's all it's about. The best teams are able to manage their best players towards the back end of the season, so they're fit and firing come finals. And I think that's what we need to be aiming for. We've got the list. We've shown what we can do. Now it's all right. Now it's time. Now let's just sit back and hopefully enjoy some good times.
Yeah. There's something about, I don't know if we've forgotten. I don't know if I'm getting too caught up in how good the end of 23 was. And I don't know if I just feel like it's time to trust who's at the club now to get the job done. And I don't know if we need one more season to consolidate what we did for the majority of the supporter base to get on board. I mean, questions will always be asked. They have to be asked, and they will. But I just feel like let's get a month, 4 to 6 weeks of the regular season under our belt before we get a read on anything. And even then, like 13 rounds into the year last year, we still didn't have a read on what was going to happen. So it's
absolutely,
Yeah,
I'm much like you. Like, I'm not too phased over what I've seen, but I'm very optimistic about the year. I'm very optimistic. And again, maybe I'm like you. Maybe I'm just caught up with how we ended the season last year. But there's good vibes around. Man, we've been doing this for years, Terry, and we've been talking about we've had some dark times. We've had some dark conversations. So, man, it's like things are going okay. It's not going to be great until we actually win a flag, but let's just enjoy the good times while we think they're here. Let's not get too caught up in the negatives, I think.
Yeah.
And of course, you can take out 100 negatives out of tonight, but it's a practice game. Who cares? Who cares? Harry was kicking drop punts. He's not going to be kicking drop punts round one. I can assure you that. So, you know what I mean? If ever there was a time to try things, it's a practice game. And that's what Hawthorn used to do in their premiership years. And that's what Geelong did in their premiership years. Use this time just to get some blood flowing through the legs and try to build something.
Last week, there was a general question mark over the defense without Wiedering and what it's going to look like and who it's going to be. After tonight, do you feel like you got any more answers as to how that'll look?
I think Lewis Young has to be that guy. He has to be that guy. And I was speaking to George tonight, my mate, one of the boys, and he was saying Lewis Young showed last year when Wieders wasn't in that he can stand up. Now, when Wieders came in, he struggled. So, okay, show us again why you deserve Wieders' spot. Make Wieders fight for his spot. So, I mean, he probably won't if we're being fully honest and realistic about it, but give it your all. Let's see what you've got. And what better opportunity to showcase what you've got than going up against Danaher and Hipwood. So it has to be. Lewis Young becomes so vital. I think you were saying earlier, or maybe it was Pommy, he showed tonight that he can be a bit, iffy, but he also showed that, he can stand up in the one-on-one. So opportunity, you know what I mean? That's what injuries bring. That's what a new season brings, opportunity. So everyone, even Fantasia, I loved Fantasia today. I thought what he showed today was great. So, yeah, man. And Elijah Hollands as well. I like him. Big fan.
Yeah, the way he goes about it, he brings exactly what we need from that position, especially when you talk about, Dow being off the list, Fisher being off the list. These are guys that weren't mainstays, but that definitely were able to play in the ones, no question. And I don't have any fear about what Elijah's going to do. It's just more about we've got to wait 2 games before we can actually play, Yeah.
It's going to be an itchy 2 games too.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So otherwise, mate, good to see you. Really good to see you tonight.
You too, bro.
And
you too. Here's to a sick year, bro.
Yeah. Smiles and good times, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Amazing. Good stuff, man.
See you,
Speak to you soon. Ciao. Wow. Nah, Sammy, I need video, mate. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. All right. Paolo, Ari, and Jasmina.
Yes. Hey! All right. Now,
from the car.
Right. We're parked. Now, we're going to really lift the vibes, right? This is really going to lift the vibes, okay? Hands, touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Caroline. Bah, bah, bah. Good times never seem so good.
So good! I've been inclined. Bah, bah, bah. Thank you.
That'll
Wow.
get people up and about. Come There on. you go.
Guys, Pov, we just won the premiership.
Down by 6 goals. Sweet
cares?
Caroline. Love it.
Who cares? Who cares?
It honestly
Who
doesn't matter.
cares?
Like, seriously, guys, it's not that serious. I say as I
Hey,
punch the fence.
I say, yeah, she was getting a bit involved tonight, Jazz. She was showing her very passionate Greek side. We must admit. I will say, to quote a great Englishman, and Pommy can attest to this, there's only 2 words that come out of tonight, mate. Don't care.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Like, honestly,
Doesn't matter.
no injuries. Motlop came off early. We look a little bit shaky down back, but that's to be expected given Wiedering's out. We've had 2 games to try and figure it out, and away we go into the footy season.
Caleb Marchbank is the answer, I'm afraid. It is what it is.
Yep.
Well, I don't know if I just don't know. I don't know where he's at. I don't know what's going on. No, listen, I want him. I want him out there. I want to see him. I
I'm
just
telling
don't
you,
know.
it's Caleb. I think you just
Yeah.
roll the dice, honestly. Like, what do you say? Brisbane's a free hit, really.
Well,
At the Gabba. It's
I
a free
don't
hit,
think it's
right?
about free hit, but I think we just
It's a free
we
hit.
just temper our expectations, and
Yeah.
whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, I just reckon roll the dice. Put him in there. Who cares?
We'll be right.
What about-
We'll be right.
What about
you know what?
Yep.
This is one big thing I think I noticed out of the game, and you and I, when we kind of mentioned it, the eyebrows raised, and you're like, they need a crowd, mate.
Yeah.
Our players need
Yeah.
a crowd. The energy and the electricity that was there tonight was not, and you could see it rubs off on the group, mate. That's why it's stronger together.
Yeah.
You know. What
They
do you
didn't
think,
play
Harry?
with energy.
No, I
They
agree.
didn't see energy. There was a little bit in there. I think I can't remember who kicked a goal, and the crowd
Boyd.
lifted. Boyd, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I need that man in the forward line. Can we just make some adjustments? Like, I saw what I needed to see tonight. Jordan Boyd is so underrated. He's so underrated. He is
underdog.
an
Underdog.
all-rounder.
Underdog.
I reckon like top 2 best field kick.
Yeah. He's
100%.
a good footballer.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
I think we look back at these practice games, and there's obviously a lot to work on, but no one's going to remember these practice games when the season begins, mate. So it's not preseason premiers. Who cares, mate? Like, you know what? As funny as you say, we'd rather go through no injuries. No one cares about the result. We know we're not going to be with Wiedering. Walsh might be a bit of a doubt as well, and it should just be opportunity for someone now. What do you have to say, Ari?
I echo Paolo's points. Although I will say, I don't like how many marks inside 50 we conceded.
Yeah, we did concede
Because-
a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Joe Danaher and Eric Hipwood aren't exactly like Carey and Dunstall, but they're tall boys who can mark sometimes. So that could be an issue, and that's what really killed us last year. The amount of times Danaher got, because obviously the short gap of ground, one kick from half back, 45 metres
Boom.
out. Kitty
But
Coleman, these players can
At the same time, I feel like that benefits us, the shorter ground as well.
Maybe.
We play good footy at Marvel.
Yeah. I'll tell you what you need to do. It's the old the line that Pommy and I love to use. It's stop the sauce.
Well, that was
Stop
the
the ball
thing
from
about
getting in there.
tonight.
Yep.
We definitely didn't. We definitely haven't seen the Carlton intensity
No.
with the pressure. We haven't
No.
seen it yet, and
No,
that's just not going to be there. And
You'll hear from individuals.
Yeah.
You
What
know.
was do you know what the final tackle numbers were? Because you said they were 28 at about 3/4 time.
the final tackle numbers were as
Yeah.
follows. It was 47
For us,
for us.
what's our marker's 60, yeah?
Yep.
That's our remember when the tackle count went skyrocketing in the second half of the year, and our par was 60?
Yep.
It was 60 and above. It was around that mark, and that's when we were. Oh, it's not just that, but I think it just goes to show you the intensity with which we were playing. You could, like, the eye test told you everything, didn't it?
Yeah.
You could see they were down gears, mate. We're not here to win practice games, mate. We're here to win premierships, mate. Who cares?
I think what also was like shown in this game is that if you aren't up there with the pressure, you can make up for it with good ball use, and we just didn't have that. Like we basically had the same amount of disposals as Melbourne, but that was so much better with the ball and without the ball. We kind of culminated.
Can I be so real? I don't think anyone wants to hear this, but I genuinely think that they don't care that much to win it. They just want to get minutes. Like they just want to get minutes and Ks and all that stuff. Like they actually don't care to win the game, and I think we need to have that mentality in the preseason instead of getting so worked up about it.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, we've got some getting used to this because preseason used to be where we were looking for positive signs. You know, and now it's more about just don't get hurt and be ready for the season. You know, I mean, if we see 45 tackles next week against the Lions, questions will be raised about their intensity and
correct, of course,
all of that. And then I think the aerial, I mean, I feel like the way they read the ball in the air tonight, that's going to improve.
They slaughtered us in the air. They slaughtered us aerially. Gone absolutely murdered us.
If you think about it too, like I don't think they want to go up for every. I understand that we need to show that we're improving, but I don't think that they want to go up for everything. I think they're all just like, we don't want to get injured. We don't want to jump up, take a mark, land wrong, and just like hurt ourselves. I genuinely think they are so cautious about injury as well because our injury list is a little bit long. I just don't think that they were in second gear all night.
If that.
Yeah.
If that. Did you think? Did you notice that? I think for a patch, and I'd have to go back and watch the replay, but there was a patch where it seemed as though we were almost under directive to handball, and try and transition that way. It seemed that there was an emphasis on handball change for a little while. I'll have to go back and watch it, but and that Ari just said that was the focus in preseason when they introduced the end-to-end hockey handball drill, which is just handballs from end to end. So look, there's a bit to work on there, but I think we all know there's a bit to work on. There's plenty of things to iron out. Did you notice anything different? We've seen Harry in the ruck. How are we going to be unpredictable? Because that's what the best teams, I think that's what the best teams in all sports do. What's going to be our unpredictable edge that we're going to bring in against opposition? I don't know. I don't know. And that's probably a good thing, I think. There's no way they've revealed all their cards this early. It's just,
No, it's a management. It's a marathon. It literally is a marathon. We didn't get to see what it looked like properly until the second half of the year last year when they figured out who they were.
Yeah, I know.
Does that need to change again? I don't know. Does that need to evolve again?
I think you always have to evolve, especially if you don't get to. They know they didn't get to where they wanted to get to. They wanted to get to grand final day, and what they need to do to get there now, who knows? That I don't know. I don't know what the competitive advantage apparently is our people. How deep that goes, we'll find out as the year goes on. So, I'll tell you what though, it was great to be with everyone tonight too.
Yeah. These
two bananas in the car here, the whole crew.
Who's that banana in the back?
Footy's the best, mate. Hey,
who's that banana in the back?
Hello?
I think we might have an early nomination for Banana of the Week.
Banana of the Week. Ari, how'd you go eating those chips tonight, mate?
I was just going to say, drop the chips there.
Well,
drop the chips,
the
mate.
quarter of the chips I ate was horrific. I don't know how the pavement felt.
Mate, they were squished everywhere.
Yeah.
People stepping on them, sauce all over their shoes. Welcome back to the footy, ladies and gentlemen.
I've actually got something. I've got a question, Terry.
Yeah.
Because you know everything.
I don't know everything.
No,
I don't know about that.
You know enough. The Tillies are playing at the moment, and the roof is open at Marvel, and it is such a vibe. Are we opening the roof again for the footy?
Yeah, I think they might. If it gets warm like this, they will.
I don't know. I don't think we open the roof anymore for night games.
No, it literally hasn't been open.
Ask your connection.
Yep.
Ask your friend.
I'll ask the question. But I want the roof open.
We want the roof open. It's so pretty. It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Yeah.
It's so nice.
Yeah, it's also built the wrong way, so the sun gets in your eyes.
Doesn't matter. Live a
What
little.
was that? What was that, Ari?
It's built the wrong way, so the sun gets in your eyes when you take a
He's
set
such
shower.
a sook, mate.
It should be built.
Just give him.
It should
Yeah.
be built the other
Give
way.
him one of those. Yeah.
It's built
Just
the wrong
give him
way.
a nair.
Yeah.
Give him a nair.
Nah.
Wow.
Sorry.
I missed you guys.
I'm just trying to bring some intelligence.
Sorry, it's a bit chaotic. Maybe we should leave Terry alone.
The sun's in his eyes. Come on, Ty. Come on,
was
Ty.
raining.
It was
It
raining.
was
Sun's in his eyes.
It's raining for both teams.
Hilarious.
So, Woody's back. The Baggers play next week. Let's just back the lads in. We're here. We're ready to rock and
We're
roll.
going to Vegas! We're going to Vegas!
I
All
hope
right,
this got
well-
everyone up and about.
I think it did. Thanks, guys. See you
All
soon.
right. Love you, mate.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao. Love you too. Up and about. All right. Zach.
Hey Terry, how are you?
Wow. Look, you've grown in a preseason.
Yeah, I know I have a bit. Anyway, so some things to take out of the game today.
Sure.
I don't care, to be honest. I looked at it in a lot of different ways today. We were missing a couple of players. It's fine. Who cares? We're resting them for next week. One thing I wanted to take out is our defense. It was a bit off that back six. It was really, a bit shaky, but it's expected with Wiedering out, and the boys just got to get settled in, and it just like a preseason game doesn't matter. Like I saw that, like we're just trying some new things and like getting all like some of the young players involved. Of course, we took off Motlop early, and I actually really liked Harry today in the ruck, and as we said, we have to be an unpredictable team, and like lots of all the other good teams, like they're unpredictable. So I actually prefer TDK and Harry together. It's really good, and I'm very very hopeful and confident that Martin and Walsh will come back. And how did you see the game today? Terry?
I like what you said about the defense. I think there's an uncomfortable part about playing without Wiedering that we just have to. Reality is you have to be ready for it because there's no guarantees that you're going to have everyone fit all the time. And I think this little period of time without Wiedering is a bit of a blessing because we would never not play Wiedering if he was fit. And this will test the depth in that position. And this will, over the next 3, 4, 5 months or the whole season, we're going to know by the end of this season whether or not we need to maybe find something else, whether it's in the draft, whether it's trade for a different defender. But I think giving Lewis Young the opportunity to shine is it can only really happen with Wiedering not there in some way. I thought he looked a lot more confident than last week. He played solely on Van Rooyen. I even thought Brody Kemp looked more solid, but I think overall in defense, for whatever reason, they were just half a step too slow. They just didn't read the ball as well as the Dees. The Dees were just a little quicker.
Yeah.
So,
I think it was also that Kemp played on Van Rooyen and Young played on Shaki, I'm pretty sure. But
other way around.
Oh yeah, but it kind of looked like that. But once we loosened Kemp up a bit, he looked really good. Obviously, he's not that contested kind of a player where he's like, he's not that like one-on-one player. But it's all good, we take out the game from this week and these 2 preseason games, and the boys will, they'll train hard and we'll be prepared for next week. It's good to chat with you, Terry, again, and I can't wait for the footy to be back. Go the Blues! Have a good night, Terry.
Go the Blues, Zach. Good to see you, mate. See ya. Man, he grew I feel like he grew 3 years in a preseason. That's crazy. All right. Lucinda.
Hello, Terry. How are you going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm not worried at all. Regarding opening round or the extra round 1, whatever you want to call it, I always kind of gave them a free pass if they didn't win that round. I mean, I'm not running them off before they even get there. I mean, preseason had nothing to do with that. It was just like I gave them permission to not win that one. Like in the trajectory of the whole season, I was like, okay, if we drop that one, whatever, because, you only need a certain amount of points and, Brisbane over there in general. Yeah. So what I noticed about the prelim was where we were sort of having all of those extra inside 50s, their talls were marking behind us and they were always getting the ball. So you can say, oh, well, we got 5.1. What happened? They did. They were stopping just behind us, blocking us, or they were just getting the ball. But you can't make excuses. We had another 9 scoring shots and we only needed another 3 goals and it would have been the difference. So one would argue, okay, if we had made even one finals game in 2022, won it, and then we're eliminated, would that have made a difference? Who knows? We'll never know. But if they can turn 2022 disappointment into a prelim after what was that on and off season, then I'm thinking they're not going to be panicking about a preseason and even 2 or 3 opening round losses, worst case scenario, because they know what they've come back from. But Icon Park is their backyard. It's not the G. It's not Marvel. It's not the Gabba. So, not saying that it should be any less professional, but it feels different anyway, to a degree, you would think. And also, yeah, they didn't want to do any more ACLs and God knows what else. Touch wood, they don't all season, Jesus, off duty or not, as in during the week and match day. But no, like I think a lot of people will blow it out of proportion, and if other fans of other rival sides think, oh, same old Carlton, ha ha ha, we don't have to worry after all, well, they're just silly. Now, if the sides themselves, get sucked into that, well, we've got them where we want them anyway. If that's their easy to read into a few insignificant situations. Now, okay, you get to round 6 and they haven't won yet, then okay, fine. Teams and fans alike, including us, might be going, what's going on? But then they could go 7-24. How would you know? So
yeah. I think at the end of the day, we just need to get back to the regular season. We need to get our 80,000 plus crowds back. The energy in that place going, and it's been a solid hit out. It's been a solid preseason. It's been a short preseason from what we're used to, because we obviously went pretty deep last year. And I just think it's bounce the damn ball next week and let's get cracking into the real stuff.
Well, maybe they saw what happened to Guthrie last week and said, there's no effing way we're letting our guys do that. See, maybe. 5 to 30 seconds and he's out for maybe minimum 3 months, I mean, I'm not saying that they tanked, and they definitely didn't, F around. So it was, them still trying, but they'd be like, if that's the scoreboard and we walked away with all of this, we're laughing. Yeah, we're going to get we're going to get a lecture, but at least it's not like opening round one, et cetera, et cetera. And if it is, well, if the fans don't turn on Voss and give them hell, I'll be happy. But I'm not expecting, a worst case scenario start, because this is just them ensuring that they have the personnel for the real stuff. And if sides and all fans mistake, the preseason that hasn't mattered for a long time, well, then that's their own, silly stuff, and gives them the Trojan horse effect. I mean, I don't know how Collingwood went in the preseason last year, but did it matter?
No, it didn't.
So,
no, it's well said. It's well said. Appreciate you calling in, Lucinda. And
no worries.
I'm sure we'll see you a bit more throughout the year.
Probably every week if I can manage it.
Sounds good. Have a good night.
All right. Catch you later.
See ya. All right. Who we got here? Who have we got? Joseph.
Hey, Terry.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Good.
Well, I feel for anyone who's actually worried about that game. They don't forget, I'm pretty sure Melbourne in 2021 they got smashed by Brisbane in the preseason by 100+ points, and they won the flag that year.
And even
Yeah, even back in 2005 when we won the Wizard Cup, I'm pretty sure we won the spoon that year. So
No, it's a good point. Yeah. What do you feel going into season 2024?
Well, I guess that there's definitely that expectation, especially coming up the second half of last year. Can we take that next step into even? I mean, let's face it. At the end of the day, we were technically, you could say, a top 4 team because we made it to a prelim. Literally 2 teams who did make the top 4 went out in straight sets, Port and Melbourne. So, but I wouldn't. The person from before, she did make a good point. I guess I wouldn't particularly be surprised if we. I won't be surprised if we do lose to the Lions at the Gabba because it's definitely it's like a fortress there for them. But again, even if we don't necessarily play our best at the start, it's important to. I remember you said at the start you would say it in your reviews at the start of last year. It's good to bank wins at the start, and then you sort of let your game plan continue on from there. Because at the end of the day, it's about having your best. You want to have your best team in as much as possible.
Yeah. No, that's a good point, mate. Appreciate you calling in and sharing your thoughts. Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
See you, mate. Lewis.
Terry. Hi,
Here he
man.
is. Long time no see.
Sorry I haven't been here often. It's just I'm busy with uni and all that.
Nothing to be sorry about. You're here. You're not here.
Yeah.
You're here. You're not here. It comes and goes, my friend.
Ready for another season. Okay. Well, I think first off, we need to stop being dramatic. We need to not be dramatic here. It's just a preseason game. Preseason games are just there to discover what we need to work on, what we should not do, or what we should do when it comes to the season, the real season. I think when I looked at the game, there's sometimes we always kicked, mark, we moved it to defense, backwards, sideways. I think McGovern made a mistake. He kicked it to Billy Wilson and then turn over a goal. I think what we need to do that is we need to move the ball more in through the corridor. There's many times we always kicked it down line and we hope for Mackay and Chai couldn't mark it, but Gorn was always there to mark it. I think we need to work on our pressure. I think our pressure around the ground would be fine. I think that's what we need to work on. I think that's what Voss will address. But I think when I look at the way we played the game, like I said, no injuries, which I was very happy about. Mackay played good around the ground. I think to me, I'm really excited for him to take the other leap in that second ruck, hopefully, and just work on his drop punt. I want him to kick goals from drop punt. I don't want him to kick a snap around the body because he'll get used to it, and then he's gonna miss goals that are so close to him, and he's gonna shank it. But yeah, like I said, I'm not scared. I'm not phased. I'm just ready for the season to begin, man. I just been waiting for footy. It's been for so long since the Prem, and I've just been waiting and waiting and waiting for the season to start. But yeah, to me, this is when it starts. This is when we will see if the Blues, we are ready. To be honest, my expectation is top 4. I want us to make top 4 this year. That's my expectation for us this year. I know it's high, but look, we have the list. We got the good coaching staff. This has to be the year that we take that chance because we are one of the best teams in competition now. There's no going backwards. And yeah, but look, if I was going to give a rating for the preseason, I'll probably give it a 5. I'll probably give it a 5, a pass mark, because look, the games didn't mean nothing to me as long as the players have improved. I think Oliver Hollins to me was the biggest standout for me when it came to the preseason. He looked stronger in the contest. He didn't look scared. Like, you know, he didn't look like Lockie O'Brien, like tapping the ball and just like not going into the contest. That's what you want from a winger. That's what you want from a player as well. So yeah, I think. What would you rank that? What would you rank the preseason, man? I mean,
what did I want? Sorry,
what was like your standout? What was like the most standout player for you that like stood out for the preseason?
The overall preseason.
Yeah, the overall preseason and like your most standout player. What impressed you in the preseason? Who impressed you in this preseason?
So, of the training sessions and of the practice matches that I saw, I think both Holland's boys and Harry would be my answer. One of any of those three. I think they're the three that have been standouts. I would say if I had to rank, I'd actually put Harry at the top. He just looks to be moving with confidence through his body.
Yeah,
he did have a bit of a knee injury at the end of last year. Remember?
Yeah, he did.
So there was that. He had the concussion. He had just confidence and mental issues. We'll call it just lacking confidence. So I would say Harry would be my number one.
Yeah,
and then the Holland boys would be right there as well.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of times we did the right things, like we did the right intentions, like we did the right things, like, but we just couldn't connect it to it, man. We just didn't do. We just there's a kick. There was so many times where we kicked it to the right player, but they just couldn't mark it, or you just couldn't get it to him. Like it just happens, man. Mistakes are mistakes. You learn from it. You grow from it. You adapt from it, and then it will become natural for you to succeed. That's what happens in preseason, and that's what's going to happen in the real season. As long as we grow from it and learn from it, that is the way we have to just take from it. That's all. And plus, when it comes to the season, listen, you have nothing to worry about because I'm leaving soon. I'm going back to overseas, and I haven't. You know what happened to overseas? I left, and you know what? Before we were shit when I left, but then when I left, we won 9 in a row. So listen, it's going to be fun, everyone.
When's your flight?
Huh?
When's your flight? When is your flight?
June the 10th.
June the 10th.
Yeah.
So we got to wait until June to start playing well.
You know what? To be honest, I'm hoping that we don't do that again. I'm hoping to see just a good start to the season. Man, just beat Brisbane. I want us to beat Brisbane, please.
I like it.
But
I like it.
Even though
that's funny. How do you feel about Brisbane next week? You know what? I'll be honest. I've felt generally with all the conversations that I've had, I've felt this unspoken expectation or understanding that it's just a little too hard up there. I mean, look, to be fair, Brisbane are amazing up there, extremely hard to beat. I think if you're going to beat Brisbane, it's going to be at the start of the year. But what do you think going into opening round?
I think when it comes to Brisbane, you have to kick goals. They will punish you. They're a team that kicks goals really fast. And, I think like I said, the turnover game, the game that you have to play fast in order to generate more scores. I think that's the way you beat Brisbane. But other than that, I'm confident. I'm always going to back my team. No matter what happens, I am confident that we can do it. Because come on, in football, I had an honor last January the 27th to meet Tom Brady, and he told me that football is unpredictable. You just don't know what's going to happen. As long as so when I look at that quote, I just go, mate, you have to be confident because no matter what happens, anything can happen. Anything can happen in football. And, I'm confident that we can get the result. But am I going to be upset? Am I going to be upset if we don't get the result? Yes, but it's going to be about how we lose or how we win. So if we lose by the way we played, I'm gonna be really disappointed. But am I gonna be dramatic? No, of course not, because it's just the first game, and there's plenty more rounds to go. Because it's just the way it is when it comes to football. I don't want to hear David King and all those commentators and all those guys, over be dramatic about Carlton about not playing well in the first game of Brisbane if we lose. Because at the end of the day, it's the first game, and there's plenty more time. There's plenty more games to improve on. So yeah, I think looking at it, if I was going to give 1 to 10 of how confident I am, I'm going to give it an 8. I'm confident.
Okay.
I really am confident we'll win the game.
Well,
hopefully.
I'll tell you what. If we beat the Lions next week, I think the lid's off super early.
The lid's off, mate. The lid's off. Listen, if Carlton beat Brisbane next week, top 2. We're going to be top 2. We're not going to be top 4. I'm going to say my expectation now is top 2. Make top 2 now.
Hilarious.
Anyway,
Hilarious.
yeah.
Amazing.
I'll let you go.
All right, mate. Good to see you. Speak to you soon.
Yes. Yeah. See you next Friday, isn't it?
Friday night. See you next Friday night on the fan cams.
Yeah, man. It's weird. It's weird Carl's not playing the first game, but it doesn't matter.
All good. All right, mate.
Hopefully it'll win. God bless.
See you, Lewis. Amazing. Josh.
Oh, g'day, mate.
Can't see you. Where are you at? You're in
I'm
your
just in the room. I actually just got...
Oh, that's better. That's better.
There you go. I actually just got home, so there we go.
Talk to me. How did you absorb that one?
Obviously the passionate side came out and I was screaming, even though I said I wasn't going to scream. But look, it's a practice game.
That's not like you, mate.
I know. Well, it's just it's a practice game. So I was happy to be back at the footy. I must say though, we don't get to go to footy. We don't get to go to the footy very often at Princes Park. So I guess I was a bit disappointed that we didn't win maybe there, just because I would have loved to have seen a win there against an opposite team instead of an intra club or something. But mate, I think there's a few things that we can fix up. But mate,
hey man,
here he is.
How are we doing, Tez?
Mate, we are up and about. You know what? To be honest, we're exhausted. That's what we are.
Yeah.
Mate, 36 degrees. I was sweating in my seat.
Mate, it takes it out of you. It literally saps the energy, but it's good.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was nice to get down, but a little bit disappointing. The drive, it was good to footy's back, but, the result could have been a bit better. But what can you do? It's 35 degrees. It's meaningless. They're just testing it out. Yeah.
Getting a run in. That's true. Yeah. You bullish about the year?
Am I? What was that?
Are you bullish about our chances this year? Where do you have us finishing?
You think we'll do all right?
I think if we do what we did last year, then sure, why not? But we just got to get the basics right. I think we've got everything else covered. Just master the basics.
Yeah. See, I know what Josh thinks because Josh is the eternal optimist.
What do I think, mate?
It's gone from 16 wins to 19 wins to...
Mate, when I first saw the fixture last year, I was at work, printed it out, and then I think Harry's off. All right. I printed the fixture off, and I'm on my work break, and I'm just going, win. Oh, okay, maybe we dropped that one, and it ended up being 19-4, and then 2 weeks later it was 13-7. So, look, mate, that's just preseason though. We have to see a game for premiership points. We haven't seen shit yet. That's the reality of it. So, I know that people are panicking and all that. All you have to do is log into Twitter to see people shitting themselves, and that's fair enough. We're probably the most tortured fan base in the entire AFL, so fair enough. But now let's just see what happens next week. I don't think the boys will dish up what they did tonight against Brisbane, and I think Marchbank's a big in. If he is obviously better, I think that he comes straight.
Yeah, we we had an injury report last Tuesday. We didn't get one per se this week. I feel like we'll get one between now and next Friday for sure. I hope he's all right, Marchie. It sounded like he's been sick and he's had post sickness symptoms, and he's just worn out. It's not an injury per se. It's more of an illness. So we are going to need him. We're going to need him
we
while Weedering's
100%
not there.
need him. Yeah. Like you could just see tonight, like despite it being a practice game, obviously, like Melbourne were going at it hard, and like you just needed someone to fill that Weedering role. Not that I don't know if Marchbank could necessarily. No, look, Weedering's Weedering. It's hard to replace the bloke, but you needed someone out there screaming, giving directions. We didn't have that tonight. That's the reality.
Yeah.
So that's what we missed with Weedering. And Zach Williams, the forgotten man. He's practically a new recruit. So
mate, he's bouncing. He's bouncing off the walls. He's ready. He's ready to go. He's going to be a really important addition for us. Well, first of all, ball use out of defensive 50 will improve. He does well under pressure. When you get him and Weedering back into that defensive 50, we're going to be in good shape.
100%. Yeah, we're in February. We are in the second month of the year. September's a long way away. So let's just all relax and hopefully we get a good, maybe what's our first 6 rounds? Yeah, win maybe 5 or 5. I wouldn't want 5 wins. I think out of our first 6.
5-1, mate.
Yeah, 5-1. That's nothing normal. That's easy. What do we know? But
I like it.
Yeah, good start, and we just move to Brisbane next week.
Sounds good, mate. We will see you probably next Friday night.
Yep. Go the Blues. We're winning. Let's go.
Go Blues. See you, Josh. Okay. That's us for this evening. Good to be back. To be honest, good to be done with preseason, practice matches, all of this. Bit of a formality per se. Still, you still want to see things, and like I said earlier, I feel like I was reminded that we're not there yet with our ball use. We're not a clinical team when it comes to the way we move the ball around the ground, and so we can get hurt off the turnover there, no doubt about it. And if our defensive intensity around the ground is not at that optimal, range, we're such a different side. Well, we look like such a different side. So, plenty to work on, but I guess that's what you want to be saying at this part of the year. You don't want to be peaking too early. So we'll just manage our way through it, get through next week. The shows are all back next week. We can't wait to be bringing it all to you. And, it's been a solid preseason, and it's been good to have everyone back on and to have a bit of a test run with everything. And that's that. The review will be out tomorrow morning at some point. And then we'll go from there. Guys, have a great night. Good to have you back. Thanks for tuning into the preseason, those who have been here from the start of the preseason to now. And then I'm sure we'll welcome back the rest of our audience over the next few months. See you guys. Go Blues.